Hello there, it's Pete here, and today I'm very excited, and I know many of you are because you've been dying to get your hands on this brand new Tim Holtz Switch Plus machine. So don't forget to press that like button. Let us know what you think. We do read your comments and they're very valuable to us. So without further ado or any more preamble, let's get straight into it. So here it is in all its glory. Isn't it gorgeous? Isn't it so shiny? I love that chrome. I love the whole vibe about it. I know Tim does too. So this is your switch machine. Now, what comes with it? Well, first of all, you have your power adapter and you have your power lead. Now, that's quite important because they're not integral, they're not inside the machine. And that makes a big difference. That means they won't overheat, so the machine won't just stop working. They're external. So they're all plugged in, ready to go. Now, switch. There it is. Just to press that little button there, the machine's on, it's ready to go. It feeds everything through by itself. It has sensors, which we'll talk about when we come to it. So let's open the machine up. Now, I love this. It's got that lovely soft opening. Absolutely gorgeous. And hey, if you want your go-to tools like your die pick, like your die brush, you can put them in here. We've got some integral storage as well. Now, you'll notice now this is a plus machine. So this is a 9-inch opening, but in truth, the footprint of this is not much different to your Big Shot. If you have a Big Shot or you have a machine like that, you'll know what I mean. It has handles on the side, so it's easy to carry around. It looks gorgeous, gorgeous in your craft room. And do you know what? I can't stop polishing it. I love it. So it's weighty, but only to make it stable. The stability of the machine, or any die cutting machine for that matter, is very, very important. So it has enough weight to keep it stable. Now, let's open that up again because I want to show you, as well as the power leads and the machine, you're also getting your plates. There's 2 plates, your platform and your adapter. Now, as you'll notice, if you're a Sizzix user, you know all about this, but everything you need to know to create the correct sandwich is written on the platform and on the plates. So it really helps take any confusion out of it because there are so many machines out there, there are so many adapters, there are so many this, that, and the other. It really helps when you've got these to hand all the time. You never have to go searching for those instructions. That's very important. If you did want instructions, we have them here. They're quite brief, but you can follow videos online which will tell you all about how to use this. But it has it in every language. Also, it tells you about your warranty. There's a 1-year warranty, but if you register with us here at Sizzix, you get a further 2 years warranty on top of your 1 year. So for an electronic machine, that's a pretty good warranty. Now, how does it work? Well, first of all, I'm going to put it through without anything in. So let's say we got the platform, the adapter, and the 2 plates. Now, if I straighten those up, place them into the mouth of the machine is on, as I explained before. So the sensors pick up the fact that something's coming through. Listen how quiet that is as well. It's quite telling. And then out of the back here, there's a little door, and that opens up to allow. Now, switch. Let's switch direction. And by pressing this magic button here, that allows you to run it through a second time if you need to. And there are times when you will need to run it through. Now, you see that comes out. You don't have to press any buttons or anything like that. Once it's out, it's out. So there we have it. Now, I'm going to do a make, or a couple of makes, to show you the versatility, show you how you use some of your different dies and accessories and so on and so forth with this machine. So I'm not really going to go in depth with this machine. If you want to see an in-depth presentation, then go to timholtz.com or check out on our website. There will be a presentation where Tim talks about this machine from start to finish and all the different things that you can use with it. So let's just put this off to one side for a second. So that machine, the button's still on, it's ready to go. And I'll show you how to run a Bigz die through this, some Thinlit dies, framelit dies, and also our 3D embossing folders. Now, let's take, for example, okay, let's start off with a 3D embossing folder. I've got one here. It's from Tim's latest collection. Let me show you actually how. This is the embossing folder in question. It's absolutely gorgeous. Look at the detail, look at the depth in here. And if you'll notice, we do have a presentation looking at all Tim's chapter 1, so you can check that out. It's gorgeous. It really is absolutely beautiful. So let's take a piece of card. This is just regular heavyweight black card. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to spritz this with some water. What the spritzing does, it allows the fibers in the card to stretch, and it gives you a much deeper, much cleaner, much more detailed emboss. So I'm going to put this, I'm going to find an interesting place on this folder. Actually, it's all interesting. It's incredible. You'll see what I mean. Now, let's take a look. Now, where we would have a problem, okay, with this, if I put this right towards the edge, like that, parallel with the edge, and then I put this on here. All right, what's going to happen is it's going to be quite tough for the machine to draw this in, any machine for that matter, not just the Switch, any machine, because it's so close to the edge. So the machine doesn't get the bite that it needs. So what I'm going to do, not only am I going to bring it back more towards the center, but I'm also going to offset it. Now that helps the machine to draw it through smoothly and cleanly. Now, what I need with a 3D embossing folder, you notice, if I check my instructions, okay, right, I just need the one cutting plate, and I take the top adapter off. So that's me good to go. If, however, I left the two cutting plates on, what would happen is the machine would sense there's too much pressure and it would reject it. So you can't overload this machine. That's really good to know. So let's open up the front again. And I'm going to run this in. You notice, as before, I've got it at a slight angle. That's going to feed through. Now with 3D folders, we usually say a couple of times minimum. So I'm going to switch direction with this magic button here, and then sending it back through. If I wanted to do it a third time, I could do that, that's fine. But just the two, I think, will be ample for what I need today. And there we are. Look at that embossed detail. It is so, so gorgeous. It's difficult to see in black, but we're going to do something with this so it will really bring it to life. So that's 3D embossing. Now, what makes the Switch so special as an electronic machine? Many electronic machines on the market, they will only let you take embossing folders and wafer thin dies. This one will take all of your Bigz. Now, whether you use Bigz or not, I don't know, but maybe in the future you will. The great thing about Bigz is it opens up your crafting possibilities. You can cut fabrics, you can cut felt, you can cut heavy mat board, mount board, mixed media boards, so many things, and multiples. Now let's take a look at what I mean. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to take this Bigz die. It's called hard felt. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 hearts. 11 hearts on there. And let's look at felt, because I've got some felt here. I've folded it once, twice, four times. So we got 4 layers of felt there. Again, to help with the cutting, I am going to slightly put it off center like that. That is the beauty of having a 9-inch machine. You can do that, not a problem. So let's feed this in. Now, it's taken it, it's sensed how much pressure is required, feeding it through the machine and out the other side. Then once it gets there, you can simply draw that through, and there we have it. How about that? There's 4 layers of felt, clean as a whistle. That is the power of a Bigz die, people, because there is a deep seal blade within the die that allows you to get those lovely clean cuts and multiples thereof. How about mat board? Let's just pop these underneath for a second. Let's take, well, look at this. Look at this. What I've done here, I've used this lovely, this die, which has these wood effect planks on there. We're going to look at this in a second because that's one of Tim's Chapter 1 dies as well. And I've attached these, so there's 2 layers of cut, and we've got this heavyweight mat board. There's no way on earth you would be able to do that with a standard wafer thin die. But with a Bigz die, let's run that through again. Feeds into the machine. Runs it through. So while this is going through, I can be doing other things. I can be putting those little hearts to one side. I can be tidying up around myself. There we are. That has fed through. And how about that? Look at that. Really clean, really crisp. That's a Bigz die, folks. That's what it gives you every time. The clean, crisp, accurate, smooth cut. And there they are. Now, you can take these if you want. You can dry brush them. Here are some examples. What I did with some of those, again, with that wood effect. That's just with acrylic dry brushing. This is a background, which I made. This is kind of a work in progress. This is something that I'm going to add to a project later on. But you can see I've cut planks. I've cut them in half. I've dry brushed that. That's ready to go. Really, really great set. Actually, this set is a colorized set, and what that means is that it comes in pieces. So there's your base, there's your second one, there's your third, and there's your fourth. Now that's just using different colors of card. That's one plank, and here is the other one. So there's 7 dies in total in this set. You can see building up the color values from dark through to light. You can also, if you want, you can do it with your distress ink to get the different tones. It's entirely up to you, but super versatile, really, really great die set. Now, because there's something I want to do. Oh, we'll talk about multiples before we do that. Let's take this cardstock now. This is pattern cardstock. We've got 8 layers of cards. So imagine, if you will, you've got a card design that you love, and you're going to create lots of them. Maybe you're selling, making to sell, maybe for a charity or a craft fair, and you want to make a lot of the same card. Well, being able to cut that many pieces in one pass through the machine really saves you time in the long run. So there we are. We've got 8, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, 8 gorgeous hearts. Cut super clean because we're using Bigz technology. It has a blade, a deep steel blade, and that allows you to cut that many layers, probably more. It depends, of course, on the thickness of your card, but there you go. That's what Bigz can give you. Let's say we got a wedding coming up, okay? And we want to scatter some petals across the table. Then let's take this and how about some heart-shaped petals now? Tissue paper. I have got, there's 4 layers there. That's 8. That's 16. That's 32. Shall we go 64? Why not? Let's try it. Okay, there's 64 layers of tissue there. Haven't done this for a while. Now, again, let's place that on there. Now you'd think that's really thick, that's super thick, but we're dealing with a deep steel blade in our Bigz die, so it should cope with it no problem at all. So we're talking about 64 layers of tissue paper, all in one pass through the machine. How do we get on? Wow, look at that. So there's your confetti. So you know what, if you've got 12 tables at the wedding, boy, you could do your confetti in about 5 minutes flat. Different colors, different pinks, different whatever, autumnal, spring-like colors that match your colors for the wedding. Look at that, there's 64 layers of tissue paper there. That's something, isn't it? So again, the machine copes with it, the die copes with it. That is the beauty of Bigz dies. And I'm going to put those just to one side, and we'll get into a make. We'll look at some things, some really cute things that we can do with this machine and with some of Tim's wonderful dies from Chapter 1. Now, I'm going to start off. This die here. This is called Simple Plaid, and you can see that it's a crisscross pattern. And you may be thinking, well, okay, Pete, but what am I going to do with this? Well, you know what? You could crisscross it in different colors. You can get like a tartan effect. It makes the most wonderful backgrounds, but also for adding texture. This is something that I did. We played around with it because we thought, what can we do with this? So I took inspiration from my art school background, and there's a Mondrian there, and this one is a certain Mr. Mr. Macintosh, an artist from Glasgow. He did all these stained glasses. So this is using this die as a base. Very, very, very versatile. Now let's cut that die. This is what we would call, this is probably, I wouldn't say it's the most complex die that we have, but it's certainly complex. So sometimes we know that with a die cutting machine, you might need to run these through twice, maybe 3 times. And that's fine. So let's talk about pressure. Let's talk about pressure, because is there such a thing as too much pressure? Could we create a machine that has so much pressure that it cuts this in one pass? Yes, we could, without any problem whatsoever. However, when we have that much pressure, it affects the blade of the die. It also affects the longevity of your cutting plate. And as you can imagine, when you put a machine under pressure, it puts pressure on the components. It puts pressure on the bearings. It puts pressure on the cogs, the motor of the machine as well. So what we've got here, we're quite happy to say, you know what, let's run it through twice. That's not a problem. So let's run that through. Once then, the magic button here, that switches the direction and it goes through again. How about that? Perfect. There you go, and that's cut. You can see there. Do you know, I should have brought my die brush. I really should have brought my die brush, shouldn't I? But there we have it. Let's pull that out. Perfect, clean cut every time. If I had my die brush, which I am absolutely gutted that I didn't do, you know, you could just pop these little bits out, but you're getting that super clean cut through there, no problem whatsoever. So let's put that to one side. So that's Thinlits, and that works now because you've got a 9-inch machine. You could put bigger Thinlits through there. You could put a lot of Thinlits through there because of the way that, you know, there are no dead spots on this roller. That's very important. You know, the pressure is even all the way across. The machine detects the pressure that's needed and it keeps it even, so there are no dead spots. So you won't get areas which haven't quite as well as others. That's not a problem at all with this. Now, let's look at the things that we've cut there. So we got that background. I'm going to do a little dry brush. This is a super die set. Look at this. Check this out. This is another one from Tim's Chapter 1 collection. These gorgeous hearts again. It's a colorized, so you get the smaller heart, the larger heart. It's created in layers. You've also got that arrow, and I've actually cut that. So here it is done with distress inks to get the color. And you notice that background, there it is. It's the simple plaid background again on that tag. Now, I've done one just in black here. So the 4 layers of black, all the detail, the arrow and everything. And you'll remember this from earlier on. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take a little bit of paint. So this is just matte acrylic paint, and we're going to get 3 different colors, because what I want to do, I want to layer that up. I want to dry brush that. So there's the 3. So we got a deep blue, we got a lovely dove gray there, and we've got that creamy color. And what I'm going to do, let me take this brush. So the first layer, I'm kind of getting in all the grooves, but I'm leaving a little bit of that black. That is going to add to the contrast. And I'm just brushing that over just nice and light. Great thing about matte acrylics is they dry almost instantaneously, especially when you're doing it in very thin layers like this. So you notice I'm brushing. Now with the next layer, I'm going to go even lighter still. Okay. So there we are. That's a dark layer. I'm going to do the same with the heart. So we're getting in there, getting in amongst all that detail, so I can use the brush like this. We all have different ways of doing this, different techniques, different brushes. You know what? It's entirely up to you how you want to do that. Don't let Pete tell you there's a right and wrong way. It's just whatever works for you. That's the key. So there you go. That's the darker gray. Then I'm going to take the lighter one, and this time I'm going to spread that out a little bit more. I want to be going lighter, but because this time this is true sort of dry brush, just flicking back into over the surface, picking out the detail, and look at the detail that we have in this wonderful, wonderful embossing folder. Holy mackerel, look at that. That's absolutely great. So immediately we're getting that contrast. A little bit more. Right, so you know what? That might be enough for some, but not for me, because when we add the next layer, we will see exactly why. So again, brushing over the heart, quite lightly, not too much. There you go. So you can see the contrast that we've created with just those two colors. Now the third one, I'm going to switch to this lovely cream, and I'm blending it with that gray as well. So that's no problem. That's fine. Because when I put this on now, there we go. This is the lightest layer of all, but this is the one that makes all of that difference. It would be, you know, you could do it with 2 layers. That's absolutely fine. But when you do it with 3, wow. Wow. It just pops. It really does. So that's the first. And then brush most of it off. And when I catch those edges, those high points, those divots, that's where I get that wonderful, wonderful contrast. There you go. They're ready to go. Now, let's take a look. I've got a card here, which I've created. I've done some inking on the background, a little bit of stamping. There, I did the same dry brush technique with that lovely, simple plaid background. And I'm going to apply a little bit of glue there, like so. And I'm going to dip that in there. So this is my background, which I'm adding to the card. Just hold that in place for a little while. I don't want it to stick down. You'll notice I haven't gone edge to edge because I do want it still kind of standing proud away from the card. I want that level of depth. So there you go. If you want to stick it down completely, that's fine. You can use your adhesive sheets. They're absolutely ideal for that. Now, next up, again, I'll make my scribble. It doesn't matter if I'm going in with the paints. It doesn't matter at all. That's part of the fun of mixed media. It's all about getting messy. Now, let's put that, maybe somewhere like that. So that's 2 layers. We got the simple plaid in the background, then we got this embossed detail going on over the top. And then finally, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, let's add a bit of glue to the back of my heart. And there. That's it. We'll just have that coming off the side there. Wow. There. So I'm going to set that to one side. I'm not going to hold it up because it's still drying, quite frankly. But I'm going to set it to one side and we'll hold it up at the end. A bit more glue maybe. There you go. Let's just scooch that through that glue down there. And we'll pat it off to one side. Now, another thing I just want to talk about, let's move this mat out of the way. We'll clean that up in a moment. You've got a 9-inch machine. Now, some people will say, well, you know what? I like my Big Shot. I like my 6-inch machine. A 9-inch machine has so many more advantages over a 6-inch, but you can use this as a Big Shot. So if you have your Big Shot platform and plates, you can put this through the machine. And not only that, you can put any of your accessories like your precision base plate, your magnetic platform, all of those things that work on your Big Shot will work on your Switch as well. So that's great. It's like you're getting 2 machines for one. Wow. Now, let's take a look. Let's take a look at how this works through the machine. And what I'm going to do, let's take my plates away. I have got some lovely hearts here. So remember Tim's stacked tiles, and this is an example of them. So you've got 5 sets of 5. You've got 25 dies in total. These are part of Tim's Chapter 1 collection. And what I've done here, I've attached them to a sticky grid sheet. You'll find those on our website as well. So that's in a random pattern. Here, what I've done, I've stuck them in a little row like that. And what we're going to do, well, first of all, I'm going to take Let's take this lovely rectangle of white card, and I'm going to find an interesting spot on this. There's no right or wrong with this. It's whatever floats your boat. Let's take one of my plates. So I'm going to run that through. So this is my Big Shot platform. This is the platform from my Big Shot machine. Pop it in the machine. It works in exactly the same way. And that's just going to run all the way through. Now, because I use a sticky grid sheet, that means that those dies stay exactly where I put them. They don't move about. And let's just pick that away. So I've created this lovely background. You've also got all these hearts cut as well, so put them to one side to use again. But the crucial thing is this stays the same now. You can peel those hearts off. It's a low-tack sheet. Now, what we've got here is this lovely background, and if I were to place this over an inked background like that, now I could use 3D pads, I could use glue to attach that, but what it will give you is something like this. And you can see we've just added a very simple sentiment, but I mean, so quick and easy. And again, this is something you can repeat and repeat and repeat, and it's going to look the same every time because you use your sticky grid sheet. So there you go. Let's put that to one side because I'm going to show you the other one. And the other one, oh, you know what? Before I do, I've completely forgot something. I've stamped this lovely sentiment using one of Tim's stamps, and that is going to go on my card. Remember the one from before? It was looking a bit bare, wasn't it? But this is just going to go underneath there like that. Where they went? No, let's put it there. Let's get that just under the heart. But there we are. So yeah, there you go. That's ahead of schedule. We'll put that on there. Again, pop it to one side, just let it dry. Now, what I've got a piece of card. It's creased down the center. Here are my row of hearts. So because it's got a grid, because it's a sticky grid sheet rather than just a sticky sheet, we've got this lovely grid, which means that you can line up the hearts perfectly because you're following these crisscross lines. And what I'll do, I will take this card, and again, using the grid, I will make sure that it's perfectly in position. If it moves, I can simply move it back. So we've got these hearts either side. Do I need to put this a bit more to the right? Yes, I do. So again, because it's a low-tack sheet, I lift it up, I reposition, and there we have it. Now, let's place this down. So again, through my switch machine, into the mouth. And you can see I put this at a slight angle as well. It doesn't matter, it's going to clear. So that's run through. Out it comes the other end. So I'm now using my switch like a 6-inch machine, like a Big Shot. So let's take that out now. We'll just peel that away from that low-tack base. And what I have is this. Here is my base card. You can see there, you can see those hearts all in a row like that. And if I put something behind it, I'm going to get something like that. So that's just an ink background. You can see I've stamped it up there. But I can repeat this card again and again. I don't have to lay these hearts out carefully because it's already done. It's on the sticky grid sheet. So there you go, folks. Let's take a look at what we've done up to now. Let's put these to one side. Take my mats. So we made this lovely little card using the sticky grid sheet. We've also made similar but different, again using the sticky grid sheet. That's just your Thinlits. And then the card that we made first off with the hearts, with the dry brushing. So there's 3D embossing on this. There's 3D embossing, there's a simple plaid background, there's those lovely stacked hearts. They're absolutely gorgeous. And it's all been done with this machine, this wonderful, wonderful Tim Holtz Switch Plus machine. You know, and this is an option. We're not saying it's going to replace your Vagabond or your fold-away or your big shop machine, it's an option. Some people prefer electronic machines, and this is a wonderful, wonderful electronic machine. It really is a joy to work with. And it looks fabulous, that's undeniable. So I hope you've enjoyed this little journey through the Switch and what it can do. But again, as I say, I implore you, go to Tim's website, check out his presentation. It's a lot longer than mine. It's a lot more in-depth. He will talk about all the things you can use this machine with. He will add a lot more hints and tips that I've done today. But thank you very much for joining me. I've been Pete. I'll see you again soon.